USEG, and this is US Energy. Was this on your list?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. One of our viewers earlier asked, where does this thing go to today? So when you're looking at levels, think about a potential upside area. I had said earlier at the beginning of the show that 150 looked like resistance. It actually looks like we took that out a little bit and then gave it up, and now we're beneath it again. So I would still maintain that 150 is going to be important, but I would also like to hear about any other potential spots that you have. Nonetheless, here I'll get to that. Hang on. US Energy announces a 5-year helium sales agreement with product to come from the company's Big Sky Carbon Hub in Montana. I do love when Montana makes it into any of these press releases. A quick peek at the short interest on this: 11.42% of the float is shorted, but still 1.0 days to cover. So I'm not sure how squeezy it's actually going to be. On average, stock trade 6.15 million shares. Today it's traded, am I getting that right? 89 million in the pre-market. Good Lord. Float on this one is 31 million. All right, 13. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about, how there's a lot of important different gases and other parts of the supply chain for chips. Helium is a very important component to chip making, as it cools chips during the process. So helium is very much needed when making chips. This 5-year deal, great news. Didn't really have US Energy on my list as a helium producer, but drilling and producing fuel does have helium as that comes along with part of what you can drill. So the company does have some revenue. It's not profitable, and it does need cash. That's what the concern for me would be. You can look at their quarterly statement. They lost a little less than 2 million last quarter, but they still do have some revenue. But they don't have very much cash. They have less than 500,000 in cash. So a little bit concerned with that. They may have to do some kind of capital raise at some point. We'll see. I don't know if that will happen or not. As far as levels go, let's go back to USEG. So one of the things I had noticed here with on a daily chart is that it did trade up to about the area where it usually runs up to before it starts to pull back. And it's been doing that for the past a couple of years, with the one exception in early 2025 when we just rocketed all the way up to 650 and came back in. Haven't done that since. And and it seems like once we get up into the 160s, we tend to find some resistance there. That's just what the history of the past couple of, or I guess now 3 years looks like. So I think when you were talking about the 150 area, I see that as potentially a resistance, but I think you could still get a little bit higher prints with this. But just look at the history of this stock. There's a lot of days where this ran up to these very levels and then just came right back in. So I think I do like that 150 area.
Okay.
There's also some areas up higher, like around 165, maybe 170. But just look at what the daily shows. The chart has shown us that it can come back in pretty hard. I think we just need to hold VWAP, because if we start losing VWAP, we're probably going to come back down towards the 65 EMA.